Another day, another freaking chest pump is on the way. Does that rhyme? That sounded way cooler in my head before I actually said it. Now I think I just sound like an absolute freaking dork. Oh well. Anyway, hello. It is a Tuesday. It is a chest day. It's, for some reason, gotten cold again. But the road is dry. And I'm in a good mood. I'm feeling good today. As forecasted. Well, not forecasted. I guess it was. I predicted on Sunday that my legs would be hurting after a fat leg day I had. And I can assure you right now, I can barely walk without it looking like I've shat myself. Which I think is a good sign. So I'm nice and fueled up. I've eaten a little more than usual again, just because, well, I don't want it to become a reoccurring thing, but I obviously ate a lot more on Sunday before my sesh, and that's what gave me such like a huge boost in the gym. So I'm going to test that theory again today, and maybe I just hit a stroke of luck of some sort, and magically I got really strong on Sunday. But anyway, I'm not making it a reoccurring thing. I can kind of feel in my body now when I need a little bit of extra food, and I also make sure to up the protein when my muscles are like noticeably fatigued and sore like they are today. Not that I'm hitting legs again today, but just I don't know the science behind it, but in my head, like if I'm sore, I need to recover, and thus I think eating, I'm not saying like an extra 1,000 calories, like I mean like a couple extra 100 calories, just to aid that recovery and rebuild my muscle and hopefully get a little bit bigger. That's the whole sort of like premise with the way I go about lifting and the way I go about bodybuilding specifically. I don't know if I've spoken about any of this before. I basically think like all the sciencey based bullshit is a load of bullshit. I guess there's a little bit of science to it. Of course there has to be to some extent. But at the same time, I can pay any old doctor whatever money they ask for them to produce a study that basically fits my narrative. And I think that's what a lot of these science-based lifters on YouTube and shit do. They're also probably all on an absolute metric whack ton of steroids. And then they lie about it and say, oh, I'm a lifetime natural. Even though they have like 28-inch biceps and fucking pecs that literally look like a set of double Ds. Oh, and by the way, I've only been lifting for 3 minutes. Yeah, okay, buddy. I don't know where the fuck I was going with that tangent, but that happened. I have no idea what I was saying. I'm hitting chest today. Hopefully I can get a bit of progressive overload, and actually I'm not doing that today. I'm switching up my pressing movement. I'm I'm kind of bored of the Smith machine. Not bored of it, I do like it. I think it's a good movement, but especially on a Tuesday, it's normally a bit busier in the gym and you end up just waiting like fucking half an hour for it to become available. So I kind of thought, you know, I've been doing the same Smith machine press for like 7 weeks now, 8 weeks, nearly 2 months. So I thought it's time to switch it up and do some incline dumbbell instead. I did incline dumbbell last chest day, and I managed to press 40 for 4, I think. So, you know, if I can try and double that within the next couple of weeks, that would be pretty good. Because I looked back and I said in a previous talk, like, I'm as strong as I was when I was 90 kg. There's the odd lift where I'm not, and incline dumbbell is one of them. I did 40 kilo in each hand, obviously, for 8 or 9, I think. So I'm a little ways off that, but again, like, I'm 13 kilo lighter than I was back then, so to lose that much strength, it's not too insane, to be honest. I'm not too worried. So yeah, that's what I'm going to try and build up. Oh, actually, that's a good point. I hit that 8 or 9 reps on a lower incline, which is obviously much easier to press. And that's why, like, all my chest press movements look much... Fuck, I'm out of breath. That's why they look much weaker than they actually are. Like, it looks like I've made no chest gains in terms of strength in like the last 6 months, year, but I have, because I've increased the incline, which basically make it more of an upper pec movement, which essentially makes the movement harder in order to stimulate more growth. And obviously my chest is, I wouldn't say significantly bigger, but it is definitely bigger than it was well, since I increased the incline. But yeah, anyway, I do apologise. I haven't had any video footage of my day or anything the last couple of days, mainly because I've just not really been doing anything that I think would be cool to film. I've also been at we picked up a couple new clients last week that we went to, and I don't really feel comfortable like getting my camera out and filming around their gardens and stuff just yet. It would have been cool to film some of it, because obviously, like, one of the gardens we picked up, for example, is an absolute state. Like, all the beds are just covered in weeds and like fucking turf. There's actually grass growing in some of the beds. So it probably would have been quite satisfying to watch, like, digging those beds over and removing all the crap out of them. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As I say, like, I don't want to make the video footage like the main part of these. It's not the point. It's not why I do these. The main point of these is the exercise of talking and getting comfortable, just speaking whatever's on my mind. And obviously, in previous talks, I've spoken pretty highly of doing this exercise and the benefits it has. I've never actually spoken about the negatives of it. I don't really know what the negatives are. I guess the negatives, like, if you don't if you're not honest with yourself and you hold back the exercise can kind of just become completely pointless to some extent. Which obviously adds an element of self-trust to the exercise, that you have to trust yourself that you are actually just gonna speak what's on your mind and not hold back. Obviously, like, I don't say names of people or anything, or like places, because I don't want to dox myself, to be honest. You never know when these videos could like resurface later in life, or you just never know. So in my opinion, it's best to just play it safe. But yeah, speaking of work, I had a interesting conversation with my dad today about what we want to do, and when I say what we want to do, I mean do on like a multi-year scale, which is kind of interesting because that's obviously something that I have said has been playing on my mind or anything and stuff in my last couple of talks, and yeah, it's obviously just something that's playing on my mind over the last couple of weeks, to be honest, couple of months. I think there's a lot of uncertainty, and there still is. Like, it wasn't a super constructive conversation, but we spoke about how we could potentially start running the company as a partnership. So we kind of need to like look into the benefits and stuff of that, and that would basically give me like slightly more control over the business and stuff, and it would allow my dad to then take or set up the business elsewhere if he wanted to move away and stuff. But obviously we still have like the whole dilemma of like where I want to live, if I want to buy a place, if I want to carry on renting somewhere, whether that be on my own or with my dad. And the other dilemma of I kind of still want to go traveling, but I don't really know where and I don't know when. Yeah, man, there's just still a lot of uncertainty, and right now I can't really see a clear path. And this is super interesting because this all started with me a few talks ago saying like I don't know what I worry about. And it's kind of taken me like a good week or so. I can't remember when I uploaded that, or when I made that, or when I did that talk, sorry. But since then it's just been this like carousel of thoughts and options and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, I still don't have an answer. Well, I have an answer to what worries me, and yeah, what worries me is I don't know what the future looks like. I know what I want from the future, but I don't know what order I want to do it all in, you know? I think I need to maybe just stop being a pussy and like just commit to one. But that's where I then fall into another trap. Like, if I just commit to one, then like I am committed. Maybe I've got commitment issues. Fuck's sake. No, I don't think I do. Maybe I do. Oh man, I don't know. I don't fucking know. Yeah, we didn't really come to any sort of conclusion earlier when I spoke with my dad, but I find it interesting that he brought it up because we literally never like sit down and eat lunch together or whatever. And today he made like the I presume conscious decision to ask me if I wanted to stop for some lunch and just sit and eat lunch with him in the van, presumably because he wanted to speak about that for a minute. Maybe it wasn't, maybe I'm just overthinking it, I don't know. But either way, I find it interesting that it's clearly something that's playing on his mind as well, so maybe I just need to stop being a bitch and like actually be a bit more open with him, speak about what I think I want, and maybe he can give me some ideas, some of his opinions. He's always said, like last year in September, one of my friends was going to America, to Vegas and to LA on like a little road trip thing with a small group of people, and I was gonna go. It was only like a couple grand or something, and I've always wanted to go to that part of America, and eventually I bailed out because the trip was going to end up costing like twice as much as he paid for it, because there was some like, I think it was like a end of summer deal or some shit, and it literally ran out like as I was going to book it, which is kind of odd. I still don't really know what happened with that, and I wasn't really prepared to spend like, I think it was going to be like nearly £3,500–4,000 for like a 10-day trip, and I just thought that was a bit steep. But yeah, anyway, when I was looking at doing that, my dad was like, yeah, just go for it, you're still young. Like, he always says he wishes he travelled when he was my age. He said that's one of his biggest regrets. So I know he would like side with me if I made the decision to go travelling, but like obviously then what do I do with the business if he wants to move away? Like there's just this whole business, all these clients just sat there not being attended to, or we would just potentially lose them, which, you know, I obviously really don't want. I think I spoke about this the other day. I'm probably just reiterating what I've already said, which is maybe why it's clearly something important. Maybe this is my intuition talking, saying I need to do something about it relatively soon, because it's clearly something that's propping its head up round the corner frequently. It's something that's playing on my mind a lot at the moment. Yeah, my dad will support me whatever I do. I need to make sure that it's the right decision for me at the end of the day. And right now I'm still very unclear what that looks like. But I will get there. I will frickin' get there.